Hello cuties, and welcome to my heroic Iron Qon 25-man guide. I'm going to assume that you have done this encounter in normal mode, and as such, I will not be covering most of the normal abilities. For this encounter, you want to bring 1 to 2 tanks, 6 to 7 healers, with the rest of the raid being DPS. Try to bring about 7 to 10 melee DPS, as this will make the encounter a bit easier. The heroic addition to this encounter is that when you fight a Quillen, a second Quillen comes down to attack the raid. When you fight Rorschach, Quetzal will fly around and cast Lightning Storm on random players, as well as Whirling Winds, which is a new ability that creates a massive whirl of wind that goes in a straight line and hits for about 200,000 nature damage. To deal with this, you just click on players that get Lightning Storm, just like normal mode, and you avoid his Whirling Winds by not standing in front of him whenever he lands or casts it. When you fight Quetzal, Damren will fly around and cast Freeze and Shatter as well as Frostbite. The Freeze and Shatter is just like normal mode, which you just heal through, and the Frostbite, which is a new ability, creates a small blue ring underneath players that will after about 2 seconds grow into a spike and hit players and anyone within 4 yards for 150,000 frost damage, as well as knocking them into the air. This spike can be completely avoided if you pay attention to the ground and move out of this blue circle. And lastly, when you fight Damren, Rorschach will fly around and cast Unleash Flame on the largest clump of players. This clump should be melee and is one of the reasons you bring men and melee to this encounter. Simply have melee stacked behind the boss and eat the Unleashed Flame damage. Keep them healthy and there should be no issues at all. Besides all that, each Quillen will fly off when their health hits 25%, and then all of them, plus the boss, will attack the raid at the same time. Before we talk about the strategy for this boss, you have to decide if you want to use 1 or 2 tanks. I recommend using 1 tank, as you can use Hand of Protection to remove the impaled stacks. If you go with 1 tank, just use Hand of Protection whenever your tank has 6 stacks of impale. The strategy for this encounter is very similar to normal mode. Rorschach is the first Quillen you will fight, so you start by spreading out and depending on how many melee you bring, form 2 to 3 groups of them. 1 group on the left hind leg, 1 group on the right hind leg, and if you have this many melee, 1 group on a tank. Each of these groups have 4 players to make sure that you don't get Unleashed Flame just yet. Wait for Rorschach to gain 100 energy and use healing and mitigation cooldowns through his Molten Overload. Once Molten Overload is done, have all your melee stacked behind the boss to force Rorschach to cast Unleashed Flame on them and just burn him down. During this time, Quetzal will fly around and use Lightning Storm on random players that you deal with just like in normal mode. Click on them to free them. Watch out for his Whirling Winds, as if this hits melee at the same time as Unleashed Flame, it will be a lot of damage. Once Rorschach hits 25% health, he will fly off and Quetzal will land. Quetzal is almost the same as normal mode, except that you will take more raid damage as Damren is flying above, casting Freeze and Shatter on the raid, as well as Frostbite, which can be completely avoided if you move out of the blue circle underneath you. Have Warlock portals set up so you can get out of Windstorm as soon as possible, and once you are out, stand still and heal up and just have your ranged DPS nuke Quetzal as he's flying inside of Windstorm. Once he has landed, pull him out of it and tank him by the entrance with the raid spreading out around him. When he hits 25% health, he will fly off and Damren will land. As with the other Quillens, Damren is very similar to normal mode, and the only new addition is that Rorschach will be flying around casting Unleashed Flame on the largest clump of players you can find. In this case, it's gonna be melee, so have all your melee stacked behind the boss. Once Damren hits 25% health, Iron Qon will dismount him and Rorschach and Quetzal will land and attack. At this point, make sure your tank uses cooldowns as he will be tanking all 3 Quillens and Iron Qon at the same time. This is the best time to use Heroism or Bloodlust. Kill Damren first, so you don't have to deal with his Dead Zone ability, and then Rorschach after, as he's doing the most raid damage, and lastly kill Quetzal. Make sure you have a healing and mitigation cooldown for each Fist Smash, as he will do a lot of damage. Once all Quillens are dead, you can either wait out the Arc Lightning debuff and have everyone stack on melee once the debuff runs out, or you can just stack on the melee with the debuff and just heal through it. Both ways work, depending on your healers and cooldowns. At this point, you just heal and cooldown through every Fist Smash and eventually Iron Qon will fall. Hope this guide helped you guys kill this boss. If you have any questions or comments, contact me in game or leave a comment below. Thanks for watching and see you guys next time.